Hi, my name is Denise Hurley, and welcome to Harmonies. Um, my guest today is Dan Navarro. Welcome, Dan.
Hi, how are you? Good to see you
I'm
guys.
wonderful. How are you?
I am good. All things considered, I'm good. There's a lot of reasons why, for any of us in our community, we could be saying it's awful, but
Mhm.
I've kind of turned into a lemonade maker and I'm feeling pretty good.
Good, good. So I'd like to start off with perhaps one of your songs to get things going, if you don't mind.
Sounds great. Sounds great. Hello. I dropped my harmonica, Albert. I've used that line more times than I care to admit out loud, and a 32-year-old understood the reference, which really cracks me up from Simon and Garfunkel's "A Simple Desultory Philippic," where he was doing a kind of making fun of Bob Dylan back in the '60s.
Uh-huh.
So this is off my the record I put out about a year ago, my first true solo album. After years and years with Lowen and Navarro and a lot of years plying the boards, on the
Hmm.
road, I decided to finally make a record, and this is my favorite track on it. I had a dream, I flew like a bird to the top of the mountain, and there you were, bathed in the shadows, alone in the dark, with a lock and chain around your bulletproof heart. Minute by minute, time after time, body to body, crossing over the line, wrapped in each other, a shower of sparks began to melt the ice away from your bulletproof heart. Somebody tell me please, are we really here? I opened my eyes and you disappeared, and all the king's horses and all the king's men can't put the genie back in the bottle again. Now I try to remember, to try to forget the way it felt that night, but it ain't happened yet. One perfect kiss blew the shackles apart that keep you locked inside your bulletproof heart. Won't somebody please tell me, please, what's happening here? The image is hazy, but the memory's so clear. And all the king's horses and all the king's men can't put the genie back in the bottle again. So where are the fault lines? How deep are the ties? And can I ever touch the fire I see in your eyes? We can come together or we'll come apart, but I cannot come away from your bulletproof heart. Your bulletproof heart. It's too hard to imagine, too late to pretend that all the things we said and did won't happen again. So how do we finish? Where do we start to break down the walls around your bulletproof heart? Your bulletproof heart.
Very nice.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's a little bit of a true story
Oh,
of,
okay.
of events that took place. I mean, it sounds like comedy, and it kind of is, but it's the true story is that this recounts events that took place between a former swimsuit model and a Mercedes S600 uh, that had bulletproof windows. And what started out, I mean, it sounds absurd, but it's true. But what started out a song about an encounter in a bulletproof car sort of morphed. And we get these gifts. This is what the job is to be antenna for the gifts as they fly by. That's what I love about it most, in fact.
All right. When we first met, I think I met you and Eric at Falcon Ridge Folk
Hmm.
Festival. I think it was the first time. Um, I know that we've listened to you. Gene and I were listening to your music way before that, but it was really great to meet you when we did at Falcon Ridge. And then we had the honor of having you guys come and play at their music series,
Right.
which was so much fun to do. So I just wanted to mention that because we've known you guys for a long time.
Well, it's
And
been it's been some time now, and actually, I think unless I'm mistaken, I played it twice. Once with Eric, and then
mhm,
I did it once solo in a co-bill with Robbie Schaefer from Eddie from Ohio.
yes,
And I have to say that show, I think that was 2006, was my first solo tour. Eric had not retired. Now, for those who don't know, Eric Lowen and I were partners for over 25 years, and he contracted Lou Gehrig's disease in early 2004, retired in 2009, and passed away in 2012. Well, I went solo at the very tail end of 2006, and coming to Lancaster was my first solo tour.
I
And
remember.
I
Yeah,
was terrified.
you terrified.
What am I
Really.
going to do without my other half? And
Hmm.
it was a serious learning experience. I was grateful to have Robbie Schaefer on hand because we were old friends, but
Yeah.
it was terrifying. And since then, we now flip wipe to 14 years down the road. And although I have, of course, been paralyzed by to public touring, I've been streaming. Up this week is my first week of only 3 days a week. I've been streaming 6 days a week.
You have. Yeah.
Yesterday was performance number 134 since March,
Wow.
and I've basically done 1,000 shows solo since that first tour. It's the fear is gone, the doubt is gone. I love doing it, and of course Eric is gone,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
permanence of him being gone kind of made parts of it easier. It wasn't like we broke up. He passed away, and that made it in many ways easier to deal with it because there was no questioning it, and there was no what if, or well, maybe we none of that. Frankly, I would have long conversations with Tracy Grammer about the same kind of issue. Our situations were different.
Uh-huh.
She and Dave Carter were significant others, and he died very suddenly. Eric was a prolonged end, and of course we were music partners, but still the notion of there's this other person that's always
Right.
there and then they're not.
Yeah.
So we related pretty well.
Yeah. Wow. So, so you've been touring
Right.
before everything shut down. Um, and it's been what, over 30 years that you've been touring?
I started touring in May of 1990. It's just over 30 years.
Okay.
We're into the 31st year, and
Okay.
I don't know when I'm going out again. I know that I will.
Yep.
This is not something, income notwithstanding. I frankly love the road. I love meeting people everywhere. I love seeing this country on the ground.
Yeah.
I love the ability to become familiar with places, and that
Hmm.
I grew up as a child. I never traveled. My father had the kind of business that did well in holiday times, so we never traveled. I didn't start traveling a little in college. I did, but I didn't start traveling in earnest until I was in my 20s, and didn't really hit the road until Lowen and Navarro started. And I was in my 30s when Lowen and Navarro started.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's been 30 years, and I'm, let's just say, over retirement age, And so
Mm-hmm.
it's been a 30-year trek. I have no intention of stopping, no interest in slowing down, I don't
Sure.
think. I think the big, undecided fact and indetermined factor, undetermined, is what's going to happen when the red light, when the green light's back on. Will I still like it? I suspect I will,
Yeah.
but you never know. I mean, I am orienting toward doing different things now. I'm again, the streams have become a tremendous substitute for uh, for the live interaction. It's not the same.
Right.
It's not the same.
Right.
Um, but I'm trying to actually imagine touring without hugging. It's going to be the reality for the first year after we start again. Is
Right.
socially distanced touring, even with a vaccine, even with
Yep.
salad bar plexiglass in front of us. Which my son sent me a picture of somebody in Newport, Rhode Island, behind a glass partition, and I'm sitting there going, I don't know, man.
Really?
I don't know. It's not, to me, it's about meeting people, touching people,
Right.
you know, becoming familiar with them and they with me. I have strict boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
That said, my strict boundaries are in some ways a little looser than some artists, especially the bigger artists who really
Yeah.
can't let their fans near them because they don't know where the boundaries. And but I have touchers and weepers and what's it, TMI people, and I have all of that, and it's heartening. And when it gets weird, it's amusing. I have literally only had to draw a hard line with maybe four people in 30
Uh-huh.
years to say, you know what, you need to take a giant step back. But other than that, I tend to deflect most of it with humor, and the notion that with any luck, no one can make me do something I don't want to do. With any luck.
Um, okay. What does it mean to you to be a musician?
I've been a musician in some way or another since I was 8 years old. I
Okay.
started taking trumpet in school at 8. I played in the school bands all through junior high school, and college. I started singing publicly in men's choirs in college. I started
Okay.
singing in, folk clubs and such, steak houses, bars, whatever you want to call
Mhm.
it, um, in my very early 20s. And it's really been, I think it may have started out a means of trying to get some attention, but it was really about the physical energy of music when it courses through your body. It is vibrations, it's acoustical vibrations, with or without lyrics, that resonate with your body when you execute with your hands or with your voice or something like that. And, whether you're blowing into an instrument, striking an instrument, or singing, these vibrations go through your body. I remember vividly the feeling of my first concert band, Symphonic Wind Ensemble, and the entire group played, and I'm in the middle of it, and it's like, wow, because it wasn't just all around me, it was inside me. And I was also making sounds, contributing to it. Taught me the nature of harmony, taught me the nature of following leaders, taught me the nature of teamwork, and it particularly taught me the nature of abstract expression, because
Okay.
music is ephemeral. It doesn't look like anything. You
Mhm.
can't touch it. It's sounds, and we ascribe meaning to those sounds without lyrics. But I mean, why does that sound sad compared to that? Why
Right.
does that sound weird? And these are things that the emotional responses that we get that have no basis in reality, or do they? And I think that's the thing I love about it, is the fact that music forces you into a sense of yourself that is not all about the one-to-one relationship with time and space.
Hmm.
It is abstract, it is spiritual, it's emotional, it's
Hmm.
physical.
Yep.
And to get to do it puts me in sync with whatever it is that happens to be going on in the world or around me in a given moment. To share it with people and have their reactions happen, or to make music with people, especially when you don't know what you're going to play and you gel and you look at each other going, Who did that? I didn't do that. Did you do that? It's like a Ouija board. Nobody knows who made it work. But when it happens,
Mhm.
nothing touches it. And I've acted and I've painted and I've drawn and I've written prose and yeah, I've done graphic design. They're all
Mhm.
cool. They're
Yep.
not music, not to me.
Wow. Yeah. Um, so what has been your inspiration for your songwriting recently?
Recently, I was going to make a joke until you said the word recently.
Well, you can still
For me,
make a
it's
joke.
been abject pain. It's been trying to mollify, understand, express, release trauma, whether it's the emotional
Okay.
trauma of a loss or even a sense of joy that is because of its sort of animated nature can be traumatic in quotes. It's a good trauma, but it can be jostling. So from that standpoint, um, music was designed to bring me expression, release, and peace. What it's been lately is to maintain engagement and connection with a larger
Hmm.
world, and also to try to understand these changes that we're dealing with right now. I mean, we are in a once a century uh, sense of upheaval everywhere,
Right.
and nobody knows what it's going to look like when the pieces settle.
Right.
We have ideas, but nobody really knows.
Right.
And that part is, it's terrifying in some ways. It's awe-inspiring might be a better way to put it because it can also
Mm.
be invigorating. But I'm not thrilled about a lot of what's going on, and I think a lot of
No.
people in our community feel the same way. It's not as simple as a gentleman in the White House or anything. Many, many changes are occurring in our world that are untenable to a generation. And the question is, how much of them will resonate beyond this generation? How much of them will my son's generations look at and go, "Oh,
Right.
that's just the way it is"?
Hmm.
Especially considering, the things that changed in my generation compared to my parents. My father would be 101 if he were still alive. My mother would be, she passed on
Hmm.
quite some time ago, and she would be 93
Yeah.
if she were still living. So they've seen things like, I can't believe you do that. I can't believe you say that. People who can't believe you could say ass on television. When we were growing up, when I was growing up, you couldn't.
No.
And it's not as simple as that.
Yeah.
But the notion of experiencing, living through, understanding, and in particular navigating change is something that's something I write about and write
Yep.
into a lot.
Yeah.
So it's been
So, do you think this was something that, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's something that we needed to have happen to really change how we live and how
yes,
we treat
yes and
people?
no. I think some of the evolutions were necessary
Hmm.
as we as people changed. I think some of the ugly going on right now was unnecessary
Okay.
and speaks to a semblance of dissatisfaction that was coming from a segment of our population. But
Hmm.
I think to a great degree, it also speaks to how spoiled we've become,
Okay.
that we expect certain things to be a particular way when we're dancing in the streets and don't even know it. Um, And so, whether we can turn the clock back to the 1950s and create a sense of the world that existed at one point in time uh, is open for debate. There are many in this world, not just this country, trying to do just that. Others that are trying to catapult us into the future, possibly even before we're ready. A whole bunch of us that are sitting there going, let's just be here now and figure this out, and
Right.
all points in between. Um, I think certainly most giant social movements that have resulted in monumental change needed some sense of crisis and some sense of breakdown
Right.
to come to fruition. I think the lack of civility and the nastiness and the polarity in our world is
Hmm.
not something that needed to happen. I think the energies around social justice did because it's about blink and time. It's amazing that it's taken 160 years
Yeah.
to get anywhere close to where we need to be. And that the whole idea was great. Well, we did that 160 years ago. Now let's just push all these people off to one side as we continue with business as usual and give them the illusion of justice. It's a tough one, and obviously I'm fairly left wing, although centrist by nature because it's from a practical standpoint. But the big social changes they needed to happen a long time ago, and I'm glad they're happening now.
Um, Now, Shed My Skin, is that your latest CD?
That's my latest. I put it out to our community 2 years ago, and I put it out to the world a year ago. I actually only played it at shows, only sold it at shows, and on my website for
Uh-huh.
a year. It wasn't on any of the services like iTunes or Apple Music or Amazon or Spotify or Deezer or any of those. I released it worldwide in March of 2019. So it's now really, as far as most of the world is concerned, it's a year old. And I've got enough songs for a new one. I don't know how I'm going to record it. I have an idea how I'd like to record it. But frankly, with everything that's going on, how do you convene to record? I'm a board member, a national officer actually in SAG-AFTRA, the
Yep.
merged entity that was the Screen Actors Guild and AFTRA, the
Mm-hmm.
TV Radio Recording Union. And I've been part and parcel of creating the protocols with which we go back into production around humans. I actually did a session 2 days ago for a television
Okay.
series in a studio. Engineer gloved, masked, didn't touch me. I didn't touch anything. All the doors were open and were closed for me. I could have brought my own headphones. The receptionist was behind plexiglass like a salad bar and took my temperature upon arrival.
Mm-hmm.
I had to fill out a questionnaire indicating if I'd had anything remotely resembling COVID symptoms. But it was nice to get to work in a
Yeah.
studio setting. But it's not easy. There are protocols now, and some of those might never go away. I
Right.
somehow believe that we may never see a day where there isn't a hand sanitizer machine at the
Mm.
door to every public place. That something tells me that's going to be permanent. I mean, first of all, they've been purchased. They may as well be used.
Right. Right. Well, going into your other world as a voice actor and singer, are you, are you able to do that now? Are you able to do any of that type of work? Is that available to you?
Tell me that one more time. I'm sorry, I got slightly distracted. I apologize.
Oh, that's okay. You're
Something
a
funny
voice
going on.
actor.
I am able to. I'm lucky that way. Production is
Okay.
shut down for on-camera actors and is just barely starting
Yep.
to get started again. Um, my work as a singer in film has stopped, but I have been doing unidentifiable noise voices called Walla on Family Guy and American Dad for 20 years. And
Okay.
I've done 16 episodes here at home in Shutdown. I've been doing voiceovers for commercials, and I've done 6 here in Shutdown over the last 5 months. I just delivered a commercial Monday. I just did my last episode of Family Guy delivered yesterday. Again, Tuesday, I had this session for another series. So I have been able to work, and that part has been heartening because it's not, I'm, I also because of my songwriting, I have a royalty stream that is actually quite good because of
It's yeah, good.
the big Gigantor hit keeps on providing. So I've done better than most. Which is one of the
Hmm.
reasons, by the way, why I'm streaming for engagement, less for money. I tell people I don't, send me money if you want to, but I'm not. Yes, I've lost thousands upon thousands of dollars in bookings,
Sure.
but I'm okay. And a
Yep.
lot of the people watching and listening are not okay, have been furloughed or been laid off or are looking at, fixed expenses and no income. So, but I have been able to work. It's been good, and it's starting to ramp back up. But the real issue is that it's now quite cumbersome. We're talking about on-camera, on-set actors tested daily. The people in their
Hmm.
immediate vicinity all masked and tested daily. the creation of 3 zones, Zone A, Zone B, Zone C, and in terms of how close you get to the actors. No guests on set or in the studio, period.
Right.
Cleaning everything. The testing alone is costly for the producer because the producers are maintaining these costs. So it's a lift. But the two things that come into play, one of them is yeah, but would you rather produce or not produce? And the other is, do you want to be the producer that kills the first actor? And nobody really wants to do that. So they're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to remain to be seen how it plays out. And
How
I
it
think
plays out.
some are thinking they can escape it by producing out of the country. But unlike other problems, whether it's 9/11 or Hiroshima or earthquakes or floods or anything, this is global. This is everywhere.
Yeah,
Nobody's
it
escaping
is.
this one.
Um, so, so how do you see the evolution of the entertainment industry because of this? I
Well,
think you talked a little bit about it, but
right. It's the key phrase that everybody's using these days, the new normal. In
mhm,
terms of large scale concerts, they're going to be difficult to distance. I mean, the notion of a 15,000 seat arena holding 4,000 people
right,
is economically not feasible without raising ticket prices to $500 a pop for the
yeah,
nosebleed seats, because the economics aren't there. Everybody's going to be taking a hit. Small venues, you know, like the series, it's a
mm,
tough one to take a room that holds 100 people or 150 people and reduce it to
right,
40. Again, the economics come into play. I think that once we have effective therapies and possibly a vaccine that has soaked into the populace to the point where it's not just been rolled out a week ago, but has had a chance to become tracked with regard to its effectiveness, and a large segment of the population using it, it's going to change a bit. But if you've got an audience with 100 people, you don't know if 30 of them have refused to get the vaccine and what they're bringing in with them.
right,
Um,
right.
you know,
You just
and
don't
this
know.
is different. I have done shows with a cold. I have
Hmm.
sessions with a cold. I have told people, you guys, I mean, actually, a lot of times I've kept it to myself because I don't want them to catch on. Uh,
Hmm.
many of us have gotten what is affectionately known as the Foky flu at Folk Alliance from close proximity,
Hmm.
thousands of people, lots of hugging and kissing, and
Hmm.
nobody getting any sleep. But
Right.
so all of these factors will continue to come into play. I think the future of the industry is going to remain online for some time to come.
Okay.
I don't think what we're doing right now will go away, even if things improve out there. First of all, in some ways, it's too easy to extend the reach way, way beyond your boundaries.
Hmm.
And the idea is, if we can create intimacy, if we can create engagement, if we can improve the production values. I started streaming. I had been streaming a single song every 3 or 4 shows from the road for about 3 years. I'd be,
Okay.
here I am at Lancaster Coffee House. Here's a song. Boom. There are 7,000 people here. People laugh and cheer. And then I'd move on and do it a few days later, not every show. March
Hmm.
15th, I woke up and said, I got to start streaming. And I wasn't aware of the fact that I was not the first to think of it. I did one song,
Yep.
got a couple thousand views, and I said, well, I'll see you tomorrow. And I did 30 minutes. And I go, well, I'll see you tomorrow. And I did 90. The next day I did 2 hours, and it turned into 6 days a week for 5 months,
Wow.
135 episodes, which wasn't really my original intent, because what
Sure.
I was getting back from people was not good to see you, I've missed you, or great music, or you sound good, or you look good. What I was getting was, we look forward to this all day. You're saving my sanity. You're saving my marriage.
Hmm.
I'm going crazy without showing up every single day to see you. You're something to look forward to. You're something to depend on. And it really did hit me. What's different about this compared to market driven, vanity driven, I'm going to stream? It's not as simple as that. And the toothpaste will not go back into the tube. This is important for us to continue to do to extend our reach way beyond our borders,
Hmm.
physical, personal, community borders.
Right.
Um, and I think, like any entity that deals with what happens when allowed to commune after a long period of want, is I have a feeling that live shows will become more vibrant than ever.
Yeah.
This will not go away. And when that finally comes back with the ability to truly commune, it's going to be just, I mean, you'll have people weeping openly, in my opinion.
I I actually like the idea of the both mediums happening together. And like you said, it's a bigger reach to people, you know, when you stream across the globe.
Hmm.
And I find that it's a way to bring us all together as one,
Exactly.
and I do like that idea a lot. But I do miss having my shows.
Well, I don't blame you, and I miss doing them. I've got to
Yeah,
say,
yeah,
I mentioned earlier, I didn't blow out the whole year at once. I've been canceling a given month about
yep,
3 weeks out, just in case some new development happens that makes me go,
right.
okay, let's go. And the new development, I was ready to do the Northeast for 5 days,
Hmm.
and in August, and then two shows in the Chicago area.
Yep,
And both the state of New York and the city of Chicago said, if you're from California, you need to quarantine for 14 days.
right.
And I didn't have the time. Then I found out, well, okay, if I've been out of the state of California, not staying more than a few hours passing through a
Hmm.
restricted state, and I can prove with gas receipts that I left California, they said then you won't need to quarantine, which meant that I had to leave 2 weeks before my first show,
Oh,
either in an
yeah,
airplane and hide someplace, or in a vehicle and take a week to cross the country and then a week to sort of hunker down. It wasn't worth it,
right.
not just for economics, but in terms of use of time.
Yeah,
I would have brought my streaming gear with me, but that's kind of not the point.
yeah,
Is that it just became too big a lift to try to fit it in.
right.
September, 3 shows in the Minnesota area that I've done, house concerts that I've done around Minneapolis for 11 years, and
Yeah,
they're quite vibrant. They're profitable. They're engaged. They're fun, and everybody's disappointed, but they were all saying, "Good move." It's just
yeah,
not. And they were backyard shows, but they go, you know what? It's just not worth it.
yeah.
Right now, I
So,
have one show scheduled for October that may or may not go. I have the Northeast scheduled for November. Two of them have already been canceled by
hmm,
the venues. So it's not looking good.
yeah,
So it means that we're going to be doing this for a while. Songs from the Corona Zone number 100 million,
yeah.
and that's
Well, thank you for doing it. Thank you
no, thank
for uh, performing and lifting folks' spirits. I think that's wonderful. So, so how do people tune in to your concerts and to?
What I'm doing right now is I'm streaming on 3 different platforms on 3 separate days. I was initially doing only Facebook Live until the
Hmm.
beginning of July. Through July and August, I was multicasting to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And what I've discovered is that everybody went to their familiar place, and the other two, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, were not really getting much traction.
Oh,
So I'm
okay.
making it complicated, but you can always go to my Facebook music events page to see where I'm going to be. They're very consistent. Every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Facebook Live, every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube Live, and every Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and I do it earlier so that I can get some viewership in Europe on Twitch, which is a gamer site that's
Yeah.
relatively new, but they're doing a very robust, not just music aspect to what they're doing, but they're doing a very robust series of fan engagement exercises, points you can accrue that give you a special status, paid requests, and things like
Oh,
that. Most of my friends, many of my friends are using Patreon, and I may investigate that. But right now,
mm,
Mondays on Facebook Live, 8 p.m. Eastern, Wednesdays at YouTube Live, 8 p.m. Eastern on the Dan Navarro channel, and Saturdays at 2 p.m. Eastern at Twitch on Dan Navarro Music.
okay.
And it should be pretty easy to find. I'm actually asking the audience to caravan with me from place to place. Going to give it a 6-week try, see how that works. If that doesn't work, I can just go back to Facebook and do it. I always
Just
do.
Facebook. Okay.
and I'll probably store them up on my website.
Okay.
Everything's in flux, but it's all good.
All right, Dave. Well, thank you so much for coming on my show. I really appreciate it. So good to see you again.
You
And
too.
could you play one more song for us?
Can I play a half a song for you too? Just something I
Absolutely.
thought of.
Yeah.
We all know the world is in the pits. Sometimes I get so sick of it. I only want to find some friends who fit. So I'll hang out with Jean and Denise in Wachusett. I almost called you Louise, which is Paul Seibel would like that, but that was, I get silly. And the silliness is intentional because I know that my songs are poignant. This is a newer song that'll end up on my next record that I'm particularly proud of right now, mainly because it explains why. I'm an older guy. I don't have to do this. Why? This is why. Well, if I sit too long, the television starts telling me it's my friend. When the air goes still, it starts feeling like the end. And then the world calls out, a wind whispering, baby, I got something new. It's a siren song that beckons me to move. You know I can't slow down, my wheels are turning. Don't matter if I'm wasting time. I'm gonna set my sights on the next horizon line. Well, I've been chasing dreams like they were oxygen, feeding these fires at night. They're gonna light my way between the thunder and the taillights, the red taillights. Yeah, I can't slow down, my wheels are turning. Don't matter if I'm wasting time. I'm gonna set my sights on the next horizon line. Yeah, the past is gone, but I'm still learning. Ain't hanging on a dollar sign. I'm gonna set my sights on the next horizon line. Yeah, I'm the drifter and the driven, unforsaken, unforgiven, burning brighter, burning down the house in one more town. There's a clear blue sky out there waiting on this mountain's uphill climb. And the cold black clouds that are tracking me will fall behind, so far behind. Yeah, I can't slow down, my wheels are spinning. No matter if I'm wasting time, I'm gonna set my sights on the next horizon line. Yeah, the past is gone, but I'm still living. Ain't hanging on a dollar sign. I'm gonna set my sights on the next horizon line.
you so
That's
much.
why. Just saying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, Dan. Well, again, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for
I wish
having
you the best of luck,
me.
and maybe I'll see you on the road sometime, huh?
I think so. I know so, because again, I ain't stopping. But
I
love to you and love to Gene, and I look forward to the next time. Began to melt the ice away from your bulletproof heart. Somebody tell me, please, are we really here? I open my eyes and you disappear.